Hey guys, it's Jasmine, your brow expert and your model, and also using a model that I think you guys can relate with. So it's another series of showing you guys what I did to make her brows look more balanced and fuller. I say fuller because her brows are a little bit on the thinner side. I think you can relate with this brow. Most of the clients I shape eyebrows for has this type of brow where the front is a little bit fuller and the rest of the eyebrow is really thin. Now, I did a poor little job in filling in my brows to kind of look like her brows. You can see that she's got a lot of hair underneath here, and the rest of her brows are a little bit on the thinner side. So how do you make it look fuller, but most importantly, more balanced? Now, I'm making a drawing around the eyebrow to show you guys where I'm gonna actually wax the hair or tweeze the hairs off, but also to wax. You guys are gonna see a little bit of waxing on this eyebrow. Now this shape is a bit more balanced for the rest of her eyebrows. Now if her eyes were open, you can see that she doesn't have a ton of space on her eyelid. I do, so I can afford to have it a little fuller underneath, but just for the sake of demonstration, I am actually going to, see, I'm already waxing her eyebrows as I'm talking to you. Nice and clean. Now those are just stragglies underneath her main brow. Now this is the most important area that I want you guys to see. I'm putting the wax right in that area that I'm going to wax. Okay, so right here, as you can see, I purposefully did some color, but I'm gonna just put a little concealer to give you guys a visual idea how much cleaner and more balanced. Now look at that big circle. That is where it's gonna look a little thicker once we're done. We're also gonna give her a little bit of a brow lift. Okay, so after that wax right here, now you guys are gonna see that there's a lot of hair on this wax strip, but there isn't a lot of hair taken out, meaning her eyebrows, if you look at her eyebrows, this still looks pretty normal, but you can tell on the strip that that was quite a bit of hair right there, right? But again, my purpose is to make the brows look more balanced for the face. It's not about just trying to get full eyebrows or trying to keep the brows thin. It's about balancing for the rest of her face and her eyelid. Just tweezing some of the excess hairs. And as I'm doing this, I already put a little bit of concealer right here so you guys can see how it looks much more smoother and more balanced even on myself because I put some color down there. Now I'm just going to take some of that pencil, the color that I put on her eyebrows earlier, just to kind of get a nice clean slate so that I can show you guys what I did. Now, as far as the makeup is concerned, of course, now I'm going to use a powder and brush. Look how smooth that looks. See that white outline? Now it looks better because there's a balance. It looks like it makes more sense. I'm using a highlighter. This is always a good idea because before you fill in your eyebrows, if you use a little bit of highlighter right on the skin, it actually separates the skin from the eyebrow, almost giving you an idea as to where to fill in the eyebrows because the highlighter will grab just onto the skin, not as much on the hair. So see that separation? Already you're thinking that probably looks already good, right? So you're kind of knowing where to put the color on. So like I said earlier, because I put some concealer, now look how I brushed down the hair at the top of her eyebrow. That is where I'm going to mainly focus on applying color. By applying color right above that hair, you get more of a fuller brow lift. You don't make it look so thick that it doesn't look right, but you also keep the integrity of the fullness up in the front. So you always want to brush down that hair to just see where that outline is. Now for me, I'm using a pencil on her, but I'm going to use a powder on myself because I put that concealer on my tattooed eyebrows, which you guys know I have. So look at that outline. Just creating that little outline. The white outline I showed you earlier is kind of like what the makeup is showing you. So I'm going to do that on myself as well, just right over here. And I'm going at the peak. That's your arch. And right down here, see that? Same as hers. Now I'm filling in the inside of the eyebrows, which is so much easier once you create that outline. So I'm just filling it inside. Now, keep in mind, these brows are going to look really dark compared to hers. Hers is going to look a little bit more normal. But you do want to go a little bit darker than you're normally used to because you're putting a lot of color on the skin as opposed to the hair. When you put color on hair, it grabs a little bit more, it makes it look darker. When you put it more on skin, you may want to go a little bit darker. So I'm filling inside. Now you notice that up in the front, I'm going right at the top front on her. You want to blend the color into the hair. You don't want to see hair and then color. You want it to look like it's blending in, because part of it is creating that illusion, right? So, and keep in mind that this brow is going to look different on the other brow, at least on me, because I'm using just one eyebrow as a model. So look at that. I'm combing up the hair very lightly. Do you guys see that arch right up here on her? Now, once I've done the main coloring, I'm going to go back and forth, which is what I suggest you guys do as well. Go back and forth and feel, and don't feel like you're putting too much on. You could always use a spoolie brush to tone down the color, but it's always a good idea to go back and forth. Always a good idea to have that brush in hand, because you can like correct some mistakes and make it so much cleaner. Now, the brow gel, you guys, is everything, especially for her. She's got hair, I don't. When you kick up the hair, it adds fullness. It kind of does a little bit of a comb over, but it's okay if you see a little bit of color. Now, how good does this look? How good does mine look? You could already see the big difference from what I started to what it is now, as it is with her. Now, you're going to see in just a second the before and after. You might have forgotten, and it's such a big difference. Now, this is a nice natural look. You don't need so much up in the front of the eyebrow, but you can go a tiny bit right up here to add a little bit of dimension, as I did on her. And I use, put one a little too low there. I use a pencil, but you can use a powder, of course, and always want to go this way just to kind of add like those little hair strokes, kind of adding on to that more of a natural look. Look at that before and after. Does that not look good? And it looks more balanced. It's so much easier for her to fill them in as well. Look at that. Really pretty. So that's another series of using a model to show you guys that you can relate with this person, right? And if you know of someone that can use this tip, please pass it along, and definitely subscribe so you can always get my latest tips and tricks on how to best shape your brows. Keep in mind that this, what my page is really mostly about is the shape. It's the most difficult thing to do. Wouldn't you agree? The application is important, but I think the shape is most important. You could always work with the application. But yeah, so I hope you got something out of this. Let me know, and I will see you guys right back here. Don't forget to subscribe, and give me a like if you like this, and definitely give me a comment if you have some questions. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.